How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL live stream, and today it is the deadline, sort of ish, stream. We're doing it the night before. Sorry I'm a little bit late, around 15 minutes or so late. Yeah, a little bit later than what I want it to be, but it's fine. We'll still do the nice 1 hour show as we normally do. We're going to talk about, we're going to get back to our tables this week finally, which is quite nice. I've made a few transfers this week already, preparing for the upcoming double game weeks in 26, which we'll talk about a bit more as well. Yeah, we'll see kind of what the planning is. I also found out a new planning tool courtesy of Let's Talk FPL. Andy, for those who don't know, from FF Scout, who's doing his own thing now over on the YouTube and doing very well at it. I think he has over 250,000 subscribers. So he has a planning tool that he's shown multiple times in his videos, and I thought I would experiment with it a little bit because it looks quite fun to use. So we'll go through all the normal stuff. We'll talk about captaincy because there's a big talking point this week. And we'll actually do the table live and sort it instead of doing it beforehand. We'll take a look at the goals in minute table as we do as well. We'll see which defenses that you should be looking to captain your players against them. So we'll take a look into that as well. So yeah, if you're watching this over on YouTube, you're watching the VOD from last night. And this will be going up live 1 hour before the FPL deadline because there is a deadline tomorrow. The deadline is... it is 1:15 EST, so that is 1:15 in the afternoon EST time, which is 6:15 UK time because it's a 6:45 kickoff with Newcastle, Everton, and West Ham versus Watford. So make sure to have your kind of alarm clocks ready just in case you hadn't made any of your transfers. And make sure to give the stream a like, subscribe, share, reply, like, tweet, like it again, like some more. Do all that fun stuff as you have all been doing. So kind of you. This season, we're up to over 1,700 subscribers, which is very, very good over on YouTube. Yeah, hopefully we can continue to grow the channel. But enough talking about that. Let us talk about our partners for the season, Fantasy Football Scout. So, if you haven't heard about Fantasy Football Scout, don't know where you've been, but we're going to show it on stream today. Some of the tables that you can do in the members area. They're fantastic, so make sure to check them out. And they have a bunch of stuff in there, like heat maps and all that sort of stuff too, which I don't necessarily regularly use, but I typically go more on the table sort of stuff. But yeah, they are fantastic, so make sure to check it out. And yeah, usually they have a preseason offer as well. That is currently not available at the moment, but you still get the same content nonetheless. If you're watching it over on Twitch, link is in the About section. If you're watching it over on YouTube, link is in the description below. So, further ado, let's get into it. Is there a... There we go. I just had to switch it to the point screen and it would have swapped over. So, I believe I've updated everything up the top there. No, I have not. My rank. Let's update that now. So this was the team from last week. So I'm just going to copy some of this stuff here while we're at it. So Gameweek rank. What's that? 7.1 million? Yikes. 7.14 million. That is not good at all. 27 points because we didn't get any from Josh King, even though he only got 1 point or 2 if you captained him, which was very, very nice to see. Give me points the same. Red arrow. We definitely got a red arrow. Overall points stayed the same. Overall rank, we only lost 700 places, even though Josh King only scored 1 point, but also Foster got a clean sheet and 6 points for himself as well. And the transfers for this week, we've made 3. So we're going to change that right now. Where is it to? Transfers used, properties. 3. We've made 3, so it's a -8 we are currently on at the moment. So now that we've adjusted that, we can go back to the actual team. We could show you what we've done. and we can show you the reasons why as well. So what we've done basically is we have gone ahead and made moves so that we can have ourselves set up for the double game weeks coming. Now, for those that don't know, I'm going to move over to the transfer screen so we can check out the double game weeks. So, game week 25, Manchester United play Brighton. That is the additional game in the game week, which means Brighton has a double game week versus Watford, and Man United, both away from home. And Manchester United has a double game week versus Southampton and Brighton at home in both of their fixtures. Also, there was a bunch of fixtures put into game week 26, meaning that Arsenal, Wolves, Liverpool, Leeds, Watford, Crystal Palace, Burnley, and Spurs all double in that game week. It is also a thing to note. Chelsea has a fixture in this, but they do blank in 24, they also blank in 25, and they blank in 27. Liverpool blank in 27 as well. Arsenal also blank in 25, and I believe 27, as well as Leicester as well. So remember, if you are going for players like Arsenal players and Liverpool players, just remember that there's some blanks around them. If you're going for Chelsea players, they have a lot of blanks right now, so I wouldn't be going near them. So we're going to focus on Game Week 26 towards the end of the stream and start off with Game Week 25. And this is the current Game Week, like I said. So it's 3:45 my time, which would be 7:45 UK time. So we currently have a lot of money in the bank. So what transfers did we do? We used the transfer screen to kind of show what's going on here. So we got rid of Guaita. That was the first thing we did. We got rid of Guaita because we don't know if he's going to play. Butland played again in the Cup. Is that their strongest keeper? We don't know. So I decided I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to want De Gea for next week anyway. And he's got a better fixture, in my opinion, than Ramsdale does this week versus Wolves. So we went with Guaita. We originally had Alonso in this position. Alonso has blanks coming up. He doesn't play this week. He doesn't play next week. He doesn't play in Game Week 27. And by the time Chelsea come back into the fray in Game Week 28 onwards, we're probably going to want Reece James because he'll probably be fit and available then, and they're great run of fixtures for that point. And Alonso's not going to be the one that we're going to go for, I don't think. So we don't want him anyway. Also, Aït-Nouri, the guy we placed him with, is going to cover us for the double game week, as well as a couple of fixtures that might be a little bit more annoying. And Wolves' defense has been really, really good. And lastly, we just got rid of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It looks like he's going to be back, but I just didn't want him in the team anymore. I just thought it's too frustrating. He's not very involved in the games. Yes, Lampard can change that, but I wasn't going to stick around and wait. Maybe there's going to be better assets in midfield, and I went for someone who I know is a double game week, who hasn't been playing well. His stats are good, and he's got Norwich this week, so which is arguably an easier fixture than Newcastle. So we brought in Odsonne-Édouard for Calvert-Lewin. He's going to be playing, and he has a double game week as well. Great fixtures before and after the double as well. Yes, Chelsea at home is one of the doubles, but Crystal Palace could give them a game, and we'll see kind of how that goes. Number 2, we got rid of Alonso for Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri has not the greatest fixtures leading up to the double with Arsenal and Spurs. I think Arsenal's actually a very good fixture for them at home. Spurs away is going to be a bit tricky. And then their double, they play Arsenal and they play Leicester. Leicester is an easy fixture currently, in my eyes anyway. And then they have Arsenal, which if they can beat them at home, then they can frustrate Arsenal probably away and get probably a clean sheet at least one out of those games. And then they have a really good run from 28 onwards as well, just towards the end of the season where it gets a bit tricky with Chelsea and Liverpool, with Man City kind of flirting around in game week 33. And he's just a cheap defender, and I'm happy to have him as my 5th defender. And then lastly, we got David De Gea. David De Gea has a good fixture this week versus Burnley, Southampton, and Brighton in the double. Plays Watford in 27, which is fantastic for when Ramsdale blanks. When he plays Man City and Liverpool in game weeks 28 and 30, Ramsdale has Watford and Villa, which is a lot easier, I would say. And then Ramsdale also has Leicester at home when De Gea has Spurs at home. So that could be a little bit on the trickier side. I think Leicester's a weaker team, and I'd probably play Ramsdale on that one, but we'll wait and see kind of how the team's form is further down the line. So, what is the plan? Well, we'll get to the plan in just a second, and we'll use the new planning tool that I mentioned as well for that. Let's move back to the current team. So this is what the team currently looks like at the moment. So we're playing a 4-4-2, which is a different system than what we've normally been playing. For the last couple of weeks, we've been playing 3 up front or 5 in midfield. And we've kind of strayed away from the 4 at the back. Let's see. So, yeah, we played 3-4-3 in 22. We played 4-4-2, but we were I think that was a game where it was the double gaming for West Ham. And then we've mostly been playing like 5 at the back. Or 5 in midfield. We've been playing a lot of defenders, typically 5. Like from about game week 8 to 18, we were playing basically 5 at the back for the most part. But this is the team currently. So we have De Gea in goal, who I think is a better fixture than Ramsdale. I think Wolves away is going to be tricky. Wolves always cause teams away from home all sorts of problems. De Gea has a very good fixture versus Burnley, and we're going to want him for the double. So why not just bring him in right now? Even if it is for a hit, doesn't matter. Just rather do it now because it makes it so that I don't want to play. I don't think Ramsdale is going to keep a clean sheet versus Wolves. I think Wolves will potentially keep a clean sheet versus Arsenal. I think it's either going to be a 0-0 or it's going to be a 1-0 Wolves. That's just how I see it. In defense, we got double City. So we got Cancelo and Diaz. Cancelo currently has the armband at the moment, and we'll kind of check that. I'm not sure what the stats are at the moment for the last 4 matches, but we'll kind of take a look at all the potential captaincy choices there later on in the stream. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously not going anywhere. Aït-Nouri, newly brought in. There is a question to play Dennis over him, but Dennis is also playing West Ham away, which is a trickier fixture. Does Dennis come straight back in off his suspension? Not too sure. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to keep him on the bench. I know Aït-Nouri is going to play. I think they'll keep a clean sheet versus Arsenal, so I'm putting him in there. And we'll go with that. In midfield, Rafinha versus Villa. He should be fine, I think. Nothing that we know of too concerning, that I know of. He's only yellow flagged at the moment. He picked up a bit of a knock for, I think it was Brazil, I believe it was. So I think he should be fine. Fernandez is supposedly going to be fine for Burnley as well. I'm not going to put the captaincy on him because if he's not fine, then and he comes off the bench or something like that, then that would be a bit of an issue. But we'll keep it off him. Jotter versus Leicester, very good fixture. Happy to keep him for now. It looks like Salah will probably be involved, but Mane won't be because Mane is going to be doing the celebrations with Senegal. So probably expect to see Mane back on the weekend, whereas Salah will probably be involved, whether it be on the bench or not. That's yet to be determined. But we'll keep Jota for 1 more week and see how things go. Jared Bowen, currently the vice captain versus Watford, looking pretty good. Scored again very late in the FA Cup as well. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Very, very good budget midfielder in the 6 million mark, and he's been doing well. And could be the captaincy choice of the week as well. Alton Edward, newly signed to the team, has Norwich away. He also plays Brentford away. And then he has the double, one of which is versus Watford. Then he has some good fixtures still around a Man City fixture where we can then look to potentially offload him. I think when he plays, he does well. I mean, he doesn't typically get 90 minutes, but when he does well. I mean, in the last 4 matches, 14, 6, 2, and 8. So he's done well. He's done really well. And he's scored even versus Liverpool. Got himself a goal versus West Ham. Norwich, goal, 2 assists. And guess who they're playing this week? Ta-da! Norwich. So he's looking quite good. Whether it's off the left or through the middle, he looks to be very, very good when he does get significant run of minutes. And that's evident through most of the times that he does play, with the exception of his first appearance where he scored twice versus Spurs in 6 minutes played, which was crazy. And then lastly, Ollie Watkins has Leeds at home. He's not going to go anywhere either. He's probably going to have a double in probably 27, 28, somewhere around there, which would be a nice double game week for him. He'll be one of our Villa players for that, which will be quite nice. And he also has a really good single game week in 26 as well. So we'll be keeping him, even though he is somewhat frustrating to own. And then the bench order, Dennis, Smith Rowe, Johnson. I don't think that's going to change at all. Johnson just isn't seeing playing time, and he's probably going to make way in a few game weeks' time. Smith Rowe's kind of just there. He'll get some minutes sometimes. I'm going to probably put him on the bench for the double game week, to be perfectly honest, because I don't see him starting unless there's some inclination where he's like Odegaard or somebody's injured to where Smith Rowe is definitely going to start, in which case I'll be like, okay, I'll probably start him. But we'll see when the time comes for that. So, first thing we're going to take a look at here is this planning tool. This planning tool is fantastic. So, I got this over from Let's Talk FPL's stream, Andy's stream. And he said, yeah, use this planning tool, fpl.team. Live FPL has one as well. This one is also very good. I like the fact that it looks literally like the FPL thing with the prices and all that sort of stuff. It just looks like the same layout. So I plugged in my current team ID, which you can see here, 2080-913. And basically, you can't obviously see the transfers that I made for this week, so I will mimic those. So Guaita comes out, and then you type in the goalkeeper, De Gea. De Gea comes in for Ramsdale. Alonso goes out. We bring in Ait Nuri. Ait Nuri comes in for Dennis. Calvert-Lewin comes out. And we bring in Edouard. And then we have the captaincy and vice captaincy. So that's how the team is currently set up at the moment. And what you can do is you can hit show transfers, so you can even see the list of transfers that you have. You can have the fixtures here as well, which is quite nice. It's a really, really cool tool, and you can just use it to keep like a kind of a template of what you want to have going into each game week. So even no matter how many game weeks I go forward, if I go back to 24, it's still gonna have my same team, which is very, very nice. That I have planned at least. So that is good. So in game week 25, this is what our team's going to look like. So what we would do is Ramsdale blanks, Smith Rowe blanks. So Smith Rowe would go to third sub. We would put Dennis in because Dennis plays Brighton at home. We would put him in over Ait Nuri, who has a tougher fixture versus Spurs away. We would captain either Bruno Fernandez or David De Gea. Just keep it on either one of them. It doesn't really matter too much. But that would be our team for game week 25. Very, very simple. And then our transfer, we could potentially hold it and save ourselves 2 going into game week 26. Or we could just burn it and just do the simple thing, because as you can see, it also keeps your bank, which is the same as what I have here, 5.1 million, because I made those same transfers. And we could get rid of Jotter, whose minutes are now going to be more at risk for the Burnley game, because Mane should be back for that one, whether it's off the bench or in the starting lineup. They have Diaz, who is a backup effectively to the likes of Mane. Jotter is technically second fiddle to Firmino, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But we'll get Salah back in, and we'll probably have him in the team for game week 25 versus Burnley, and that'll be our team. I'll just put Salah's vice captain because. Then we'd have 0.4 million in the bank, so because we can do that straight up. And then the game week 26. So this is what our team is looking like for the double. So this is really, really good for when looking at, how many double game weekers do I actually have? And you can see it, quite clearly. And then you got Ramsdale, who's got a double game week. We're going to put him in there. Ait Nuri has a double game week, so we'll put him in over Diaz. Smith Rowe, if I knew he was going to start at least one of the games and get significant minutes on the second one, then maybe I put him in. But Bowen and Watkins have such good fixtures. I don't think I'd rather, Smith Rowe over 2 fixtures versus Wolves, where he's probably not going to get anything, and Brentford, which he could get something versus. It's basically just I don't think he's going to get anything versus Wolves, and so he's got it's Smith Rowe with Brentford at home versus Watkins or Bowen with Watford at home and Newcastle at home. It's a bit tricky. And then Cancelo is Cancelo, so he just plays because he's our third best defender that week. In terms of, I play him over Diaz in that scenario. And this week, obviously, we'd make Salah captain. Vice captain would probably be, I don't know. Let's just make a Ramsdale for funsies. And we would use the triple captaincy on Salah. So one thing I was thinking is, I could wildcard in 26, and then I realized I can't do that because then I couldn't triple captain Salah. That's kind of the whole point. And the transfer I was actually thinking about making this week. So if you look at the double game week players, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Salah triple captain, 6, 7, and then did I do that math right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. And then we have Smith Rowe on the bench, who is technically 8. If we really wanted to put him in there, we could put him in there. But we probably are going to keep him on the bench, just because unless we know he's guaranteed to start both games, in which case I'll be like, okay, out of Watkins and Bowen, who do I want to get rid of? I'd probably bench Watkins if I was going to bench one of him or Bowen. We could then get rid of Fernandez, and then we could bring in a third Liverpool player. We could bring in Sadio Mane, who also has Norwich and Leeds at home. So that would give us 8 double game weekers. It would mean that the following game week we would have triple Liverpool and double Arsenal, which would, as you can see, put a lot of blanks in our teams. So we would drop our Liverpool straight to the bench. De Gea would come in for Ramsdale, which makes it nice and easy. Trent would drop to the bench as well. Johnson doesn't have a fixture, but what we could do is we could then get rid of Sadio Mane. We could bring in Heung-min Son, who has a very good fixture versus Leeds, and we are more than happy to captain him in that one. And then we still have 1.4 million in the bank, where we can do basically anything we want. If we wanted to get rid of Smith Rowe and bring in, let's say Burnley has a double game week, we could bring in Maxwell Cornet in there, and then he would slot in over Johnson. Johnson's probably not going to play, but then we would have a full 11. We would probably captain Son, and we would vice captain. Well, if Cornet has a double, maybe captain Cornet. I don't know. We'll just make him vice captain for the time being. If not Cornet, and we go back to Smith Rowe, and we wanted to get rid of maybe Johnson because he's a weak link in the team, we get rid of Johnson and we can go for a Tarkowski who has a double game week. We can go for, if Digne has a double game week for Villa, he would be quite nice on a long-term hold, and we would just play 4-3-3. That would be something that we could also do. So you can see how very, very nice the planner is. And you can kind of look at things and be like, okay, yeah, my whole bench is blanking. I can see who I'm captaining. I can see what fixtures they have. It's very, very well laid out. And you can see kind of the transfers that you're looking at. If you do make a transfer, so like as an example here, I can't do Smith Rowe to Cornet, Cornet to Smith Rowe, Johnson to Tarkowski, Tarkowski to Digne, all in the same game week, but you can kind of get it. I'd make one of those transfers, but you can still see, and it can kind of bank it for that. So, and if we did these actual transfers, so if I went to the transfer screen, I did Jotter out for Salah. I then did Fernandez to Mane. I then downgraded Mane to Son. And then I did Johnson up to Digne. I still have 0.3 million. So I'm not sure why it's bugged out there, but maybe it's because it thinks that I brought in Cornet. I don't know. But it works pretty damn good. In terms of just looking at it, you don't have to pay attention to the bank because you can always double check that in the actual FPL game too if you don't think it's working properly, but it still lets you see the fixtures. And then we go back into game week 28. Oh look, Ramsdale has a Watford away, whereas De Gea plays Man City. We put Salah straight back into the team. He'll probably play over Dennis. Trent will come in for Diaz most likely, and we can play. We can captain Salah versus West Ham. Maybe we vice captain Son. We play 4-4-2. We put Dennis maybe ahead of Smith Rowe, Diaz ahead of Smith Rowe, something like that. And then that looks like a fine team for Game Week 28 and then Game Week 29, so on and so forth. You can see kind of how you can keep going down the line and basically plan your transfers out. And it gives you that visual representation, which is very, very nice. So, yeah, it is very, very useful of a tool. FPL.team. It's fantastic. So I recommend it. But back to the normal FPL screen here. So, yeah. I think I'm going to captain Cancelo this week, but we can check and see how bad are the defenses that these teams are going to be playing against. We can also check the captaincy numbers as well. Got to make sure we stay hydrated. All right, so if we go into the Fantasy Football Scout members area, so I've sorted this by the last 4 matches. So this is not the last 4 game weeks, last 4 matches. This is in the Fantasy Football Scout members area, as you can see. Fantasy Football Scout members area. All statistics are courtesy of Opta and are copyright of Fantasy Football Scout Limited. They cannot be reproduced without permission of Fantasy Football Scout Limited. Luckily, we are an affiliate of Fantasy Football Scout, which is a benefit. So we can help you all out and show you a little bit of what the members area you can do. So this is a custom table that I've made. It's basically a replica of one of the FF Scout major figureheads, Joe or Jaunty. It's called the Whipping Boys table, and it's basically which defenses are terrible. And we've organized it by XG conceded. And we can see way up the top is Leicester. And Leicester they're not doing well. They're not doing well at all. And they've conceded 10 goals in the last 4 matches. They've only kept 1 clean sheet, I believe, in their last dozen games or something like that. One of which was actually fun enough I think it was Liverpool. It was it's very, very interesting to see how bad defensively they are. Spurs, Chelsea, Man City, no surprise there. But looking at 4th place, we got Wolves not too far behind Spurs, so looking real good. Man United slowly getting better in defense, but very, very bad for Leicester. 21 big chances conceded, 53 attempts in the box conceded, which is an astounding amount. Most headed goal attempts conceded as well, with 16, and just the 1 clean sheet to show for it. So maybe it's time to captain a Liverpool player versus Leicester. Maybe a Trent Alexander-Arnold could be an option in this game week. Could they keep a clean sheet versus Leicester? That's kind of the real thing that you're looking at here. Maybe Trent's the one to go for. If you're looking at any teams that are playing, like Brighton or Watford, their defenses have picked up a little bit. Watford concede quite a lot of headed attempts on goal, tied for 3rd most with 13. They've conceded over a goal a game, 1.25 goals a game, but they don't concede very many big chances. Just the 1 big chance conceded per game over the last 4 matches that they've played, which is very interesting. And Watford this week have West Ham, so maybe West Ham might struggle a little bit. And again, Watford are trying to fight tooth and claw for every point that they can get, as they want to make sure that they stay out of, or get out of and stay out of, the relegation zone. We also have Brentford, who are 4th worst, 12 headed attempts on goal. That's 4th worst. 12 goals conceded. That is most out of any team. They've had 0 clean sheets. They've conceded 12 big chances. So basically, every time they concede a big chance, it's probably going in. Their goalkeeper's not very good. They could be struggling a little bit. And Man City play them next. And if we just take a look at another table that I have here, I'll bring it up. So these are the list of tables that I use. As you can see here, captaincy against, captaincy and players to watch, goals in minute, pep roulette, all that sort of stuff. Last 4 matches, if we look at expected goals non-penalty, Man City's actually mid-table, which is interesting to see, whereas Spurs is right up the top. 8.75 expected goals non-penalty. If we look at Man City have only got 5 goals. Spurs have only got 5 goals, but they should have scored around 9-ish goals, which is very, very interesting to see. If you look at Wolves, though, Wolves are really, really interesting. 2.71 non-penalty XG, but they've scored 6 goals, which means that they've been very, very clinical. And have done very well for themselves in that regard. And I think that their defense has been very, very good as well. If you look at Man United have scored 6 goals, but 5.9 non-penalty XG, about right. West Ham, 6.2 non-penalty XG, 7 goals, slightly better than what they normally do. Arsenal, 10 goals, 7.35 XG non-penalty, so they're definitely exceeding their numbers, even though the eye test doesn't necessarily show that they're playing well. Could just be me, to be honest. And then there's some teams that are underperforming. So Watford, 3.83 expected goals non-penalty, just the 1 goal to show for it. Southampton way over the mark, 3.51, 7 goals scored as well. Brentford, 5.22 XG non-penalty, only 3 goals to show for it. So again, Brentford not taking their chances, also conceding a lot of goals. Maybe a team that City could do quite well against. Another popular captaincy choice potentially for this week is Bruno Fernandez and the Manchester United assets, Cristiano Ronaldo. Captaincy against Burnley, about middle of the table. 9-headed goal attempts, that's on the lower part of the scale for that. They've conceded what looks to be the 3rd most attempts in the box, which is 44. Although 8 of those have only been big chances. They have kept 2 clean sheets in that time with only 6 goals conceded. So they basically conceded the amount of goals that they probably should have. I think Nick Pope in his last 4 matches, 3 of them have been clean sheets because he's been like on and off because he tested positive and he was injured for a bit and all that sort of stuff. But his last 4 matches, I think he's got 3 clean sheets. So Burnley could be quite stingy at Turf Moor. If you look at teams to watch again, Man United, 9 big chances total. 6 goals from 5.9 non-penalty XG. So, about right. So, United is basically on par with how they should be scoring, at least in the Premier League, whereas Burnley are about the average for, stopping or within the goals that they do concede. So, I think it should be fairly rudimentary for United, but we'll see. Is it going to be a washout? Like a City at home versus Burnley type game where it's guaranteed 5-0 or something? Probably not. Other potential captaincy choices. So, Crystal Palace, Odsonne Edouard versus Norwich. Let's see how that looks. So, if we look at Norwich, 6.46 XG conceded. Goals conceded 6, so they're actually doing slightly better than what they should have conceded. Although 43 attempts in the box is like around 3rd or 4th in the department of conceding shots inside the box. 9 big chances, headed goal attempts 10. So Norwich have definitely improved. You would expect them to be up here where they were for large portions of the season, but Dean Smith has slowly got them a little bit better offensively and defensively. Whether that can maintain it, who knows? Attacking wise, how good is your team's attack? XG non-penalty, Crystal Palace is 5th in that category, 6.36 with 7 goals. Crystal Palace are looking quite good, and they're even doing better than West Ham, Man United, Man City. Chelsea, they're doing really, really well for themselves. And they have 7 goals, which is tied 3rd highest by the looks of it, from what I can tell. So maybe that's an opportunity there. But from the standouts here in terms of defenses, mainly, and how the teams are performing attacking-wise, Liverpool versus Leicester looks like the game to target based on Leicester's defense being bad and Liverpool's attack stats-wise being so good. Expected goals 8.18 for including penalties, 6.61 for non-penalties, and they scored 8 goals. And they have the most big chances total with 15. And I believe they have, it looks to be, the most shots inside the box as well. So Liverpool are doing very well. And Leicester could be in for a world of hurt, because if this XG conceded number continues to hold, then they're probably not going to have a good time versus Liverpool. Also, another thing to mention is that Brendan Rodgers, being a former Liverpool manager, is probably going to want to come back to Anfield and make a statement. So maybe that kind of plays a little bit into it as well. Excuse me. So, with that being said, let's take a look quickly at the goals in minute table, another table that we have here. Basically, what it does is it filters down players that have been missing big chances, have a minimum of 10 goal attempts, and a maximum of 1 goal. And we're going to sort it by XG delta, which is goals minus XG. So if your number is negative, that means the amount of goals you should have scored is that amount more. So in Aubameyang's case, somebody that we cannot get anymore in FPL because he's gone to Barcelona on a permanent move, he should have scored at least 2 more goals than what he's had over the past 4 game weeks. Whereas like De Bruyne, as an example, he's had no big chances, no big chances missed, but he's had 13 goal attempts. It means he's shooting a lot from outside the box. So it's something to kind of consider. Maybe he's due. Cornet, another one, about even, but he's had 11 goal attempts over the last 4 matches. Cristiano Ronaldo, a heavily potentially captain player this coming game week. 2 big chances missed out of the 3 big chances. 15 goal attempts, which is second on this list, only to João Pedro's 17. He should have scored an extra 0.55 more goals than what he had. And sorry for delayed 2-factor authentication and couldn't get on as no phone charger. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. No worries. Like I said, I always post the VOD for the deadline streams if we do it midweek or we can't do it like an hour before properly. I always set it up so that you can check it out an hour before the deadline over on YouTube anyway. So yeah, so we're just running through the goals in minute table, and you just come in time for the last like 20 minutes or so where we're going to talk about captaincy. Am I using any big chips? I won't be this week or next week, but I will be using almost certainly the triple captaincy on Salah. That's pretty much booked in for 26. Wildcard's going to come somewhere after that, so I don't know where. The free hit is most likely going to be used in 30 because I only have 1 left. The bench boost is going to be used in the big double game week, which is most likely scheduled for game week 36. And the wild card, like I said, is going to come somewhere in between then and the bench boost, basically. Another player, Rafinha, expected to have scored an extra 0.57 goals. Chris Wood, 1.73. Anyone interested in that? Diogo Jota is on the goals imminent table list, 1.17 goals. So Diogo Jota should have been involved in at least 1 extra goal this season in scoring it. Sadio Mane, 0.75. Probably won't make it this game week, but could be in for maybe next game week. Watkins, 1.01. Another player on my team. Hoping that he can score as well. Then we got Rafinha, another player as well, 0.57. Yeah, so it's a bit neat little table. You get some interesting players on there. Yeah, that's not the major one that everyone's looking at. The major one is the captaincy table. So this is how I basically sort the captaincy table. So what the stats I got on here is you got the name, the team, the cost, but I have goals, assists, big chances, chances created, big chances created, shots inside the box, expected goal involvement, so that's involvement in a goal or an assist, expected goals, expected assists, so it's broken down, and then clean sheets because we have that for defenders as well. Do I think Duffy has a shout again? I think at most he's going to be rotation. So like him, Veltman, like Dunk will play every game. Veltman will probably play every game. And then it's just a matter of who that third one's going to be. Veltman's also flexible because he can fill in as like kind of a more defensive right wing back. So maybe Duffy comes into the equation. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't bank on him being a nailed start. I would say see how this week goes. And then maybe if he's like, oh yeah, he started and he's fine, then maybe chuck him in for the double game week. Worst case scenario, he gets what? 1 game? If that game's a good one and not the one versus United, who knows? So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the captains that I know in my team. So, potential captains in my team. So, we have Control F, and we're going to put... we'll put in David De Gea. We'll put in Bruno Fernandez. And we'll put in Cristiano Ronaldo. We also have the Liverpool players. So we have Jotter and Alexander Arnold. For City, we got Cancelo. Let's put Laporte in there for fun. We'll put in De Bruyne. We will put in Sir Philip of Foden. Then who else we got as a fixture? We got Jared Bowen and Antonio versus Watford. So Jared Bowen, Antonio versus Watford. We got Odsonne Edouard versus Norwich. We have Ollie Watkins versus Leeds. What other fixtures we got here? We have the Spurs boys as well. And then I would say Calvert-Lewin probably. If you're going down that route. But again, I don't trust Calvert-Lewin. As I've gotten rid of him. Calvert-Lewin. We got Kane. And we've got Son. Finding Son is always interesting. There we go. So now we've added all of those players in. Last 4 matches only show selected players. So this is how we select them, as you saw live and exclusive. And then I'm going to sort it by expected goal involvement. And we shall see, obviously De Gea is going to be down the bottom, but we wanted to put him in there, that over the last 4 matches, Odsonne Edouard is the highest of the expected goal involvement. That surprises me, 3.88. He's had 12 shots inside the box, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 big chances, 5 chances created, 0 big chances created though, but 12 shots inside the box. So he's averaging 3 shots inside the box per game. And if we go and take a look at his recent games, it looks pretty good. Goal and assist, goal, then nothing, then goal. Looking pretty good. Over the last 4 matches. And it's not like he's played easy teams either. Like Norwich, okay, he got a goal and 2 of his 2 assists versus Norwich. But then he played West Ham, scored. Played Brighton, only played 65 minutes, but played Brighton, and then played Liverpool. So I would say 3 out of those 4 games are like not gimmies in any way, shape, or form, and he scored in 2 of them. And then the Norwich one, where you expect him to do well, he did, and he does play Norwich this week. So that is very, very surprising. Harry Kane, 3.63. So those are looking to potentially get rid of Ronaldo after game week 25. Maybe Kane's the double that you go for. in that one. Son is up there as well, 3.42. He should be back as well. Jared Bowen is up there. Calvert-Lewin is funnily up there as well. But remember, Calvert-Lewin is someone who has been injured for quite some time. And he's only come back in these last 3 games. But then had a big drop off, like no games until when he scored back in Gameweek 3. So, and in the 3 games that he has played 90 minutes, he hasn't been too much involved. To be honest, I would bet that potentially a lot of these stats and these chances would have came in that Burnley game. I have Dennis and King. May just start King this week. I mean, Dennis should be available, so it's just a matter of which one you want to play, to be honest. I have Dennis, but I'm playing him on my bench because I think Aitner can get a clean sheet versus Arsenal because they're at home. That's the only reason. Then we got Antonio on here, lagging behind. Watkins. Bruno Fernandez is slowly creeping up the table. He typically doesn't have a crazy amount of goal involvement unless he's creating chances, which he is second highest on this list with 11, or with 10 to De Bruyne's 11. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists. He should have more FPL points in that time because some of his passes that he's creating chances, aren't necessarily resolving to anything. So, Ronaldo's on there as well. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1.69. Not what you want from somebody as a 12.5 million forward. Diego Jota on there as well, but no goals, no assists in the last 4 matches that he's played, which is a bit concerning. Trent Alexander-Arnold is keeping pace and is above Phil Foden in expected goal involvement, which is just crazy to kind of think about. He could be an option there. João Cancelo is there as well. Funnily enough, he has an assist in that time. Trent has 2 assists as well, which is interesting to see. Bruno Fernandez for me this week. Not going to use a -4 to get Duffy out for Delo to see if he gets 90 minutes and has a double game week upcoming. Yep, I would say that's probably smart. Gundogan just doesn't seem to be involved in the team. Maybe you can go, if you have the money, you can go Gundogan to Foden if you do want to do that luxury transfer. Maybe Gundogan to De Bruyne if you have the available funds to do so. But if you want to basically save yourself a transfer and you wanted to go and have that double game week and Bruno, that would make the most sense to me. Have Foden and more. Okay, well then fine. Yeah, Moura could be a rotation risk eventually, but yeah, I think it should be mostly fine. Yeah, Bruno Bruno should be fine. The Manchester United website basically says that him and who was it? Him and there was somebody else that picked up a knock. It wasn't Varane, it was somebody else. It was another outfield player. They said that he should be fine. He was the main one, really. So yeah, very interesting. Odsonne Edouard is top of the stats tables. Does play Norwich. Last time he played Norwich, he did really well. Goal, 2 assists. Kane's up there, so he's a decent option versus Southampton. So, yeah. As a United fan, I hope Donny smashes it. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how they play him at Everton. Because obviously him and Ali, everyone thinks that Donny is a number 10. I think he's a bit more flexible than that. Dele Alli, again, not just necessarily a 10. Can play as like just off a striker, so even more than a 10. So almost like a second support striker. He can also play as an 8 as well, I think. Especially if he has a back 3 behind him. Because he does like to go in for a challenge. So it's going to be interesting to see. Lampard likes to play 3 in midfield, usually. So we'll see how that goes. Could be very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. So we'll have to wait and see. Alan Decore also. Yeah, that's true. They could even play a diamond if they wanted to. Alan at the base, Decore and either Donny or Ali as one of the other 8s.
Have Decore do a little bit more defensive work and deep lying playmaking, which he's very good at. And then you have Ali and Donny basically being the more attacking of the diamond. And then you play a front two of Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. And then you have the likes of this, their new left back, can't remember his name. And then you have Seamus Coleman running the kind of the either side. That looks pretty good to me. It's something that they could easily do. It's just the defense that worries me a little bit. Everton's defense definitely would worry me if I was a coach for them. That is definitely their weak point. So they got to go guns blazing. With the diamond, though, you have to be very aware of the wide areas, because your diamond has to stretch out to defend those wide areas as well, and you kind of have to defend from the front with the two. Did Doherty move to Wolves? I don't think so. I'm not. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Let's see. I think it was just speculation, but no, he's still at Spurs. I just checked transfer marked. That's where that sound came from. But yeah, I think he's still at Spurs as far as I know. He could maybe become first choice because Emerson Royale seems to not know how to cross well. So we'll see. Could be very, very interesting for that as well. So we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. He was one of the best in the league with Nuno. Yeah, he was very, very good. Very good under Nuno. Yeah, he would be doing very well under Nuno. And then for whatever reason, Nuno started to abandon what they were doing, and then they sold him. And they lost Jotter as well, and the team just kind of fell apart. And Raul Jimenez with the injury, and then Nuno obviously got sacked or left or whatever. So, any differential shouts for captaincy this week? Well, I think we have pretty much the whole list here for the most part. But differential shouts is one that you could potentially go for this week. He's only 6.6%. I think Odsonne Edouard is fantastic. Stats show that he's really good. His fixtures coming up are good. He's got a double game week. His fixtures after the double game week are good. If he doesn't work out for the double game week or whatever, we can get rid of him and get Weghorst for Burnley or something. For the double game week, maybe Maxwell Cornet is an option. Weghorst himself, obviously new to the league. Ait Nuri is one as well. Bandwagon pick with Edouard? I don't think so. I think it's just stats are like. I mean, we literally did last 4 matches. How good has Edouard been? Well, he's been pretty good out of all the players we've put here. Excuse me, that have good fixtures. Yeah, he might be a bandwagon pick, but I mean, 6.6% owned. Seems pretty good to me. Yeah, he's good value. And he's a player where if he doesn't perform over the next, couple game weeks and in the double, you just dump him. You go get Weghorst, who he's playing for Burnley. Fine. It's the same price. Or you use him to get another double game week striker or something like that. It's very easy to do. Ait Nuri is another one. 1.4% owned. He's been playing 90 minutes when he's fit. People say that these fixtures are a bit on the rough side. I think Arsenal at home is a good fixture for Wolves specifically. Wolves when they're home is very good. Leicester is a very easy fixture at the moment. They also concede goals left, right, and center, and haven't been scoring too many. So that's a decent fixture. Arsenal away could be a bit tricky because obviously it's not away, and then Spurs away could be tricky. So Should I hold King and Dennis now for the double? I think you can hold at least one of them, I would say. I would say wait and see what Hodgson does over this week and potentially next week. And see how they play. Because if it's a situation where it's like, hey, King's going to start and Dennis is just going to be on the bench and Dennis is just only going to come on as a sub, then you can say, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to, ditch Dennis or whatever it may be. That could be something that he does. Presumably, he's going to play, when they're all fit and available, he's going to play Sar, Dennis, and King as a front three. I think that's what he'll do. Because he'll go for the more experienced players. He typically doesn't play the younger players as much when he's like really fighting a relegation scrap. With Crystal Palace, it was slightly different because Eze was just like so good, as an example. But like you can see that he's playing Foster straight back in over Bachmann. That's just one example. The new signings, he's obviously going to play those because they're the new signings. But he might stick with like the experience and stuff. You getting in a third United next week? Probably not. I don't think it's fully necessary. I think having De Gea plus one of Ronaldo or Fernandez is probably fine. Plus, I'm going to use that transfer instead of getting a United player, to go for to get Salah back in. I'll probably dump Jotter, bring in Salah. And then Salah will be ready for 26. And then I can choose to use another transfer for 26 if I want. Salah for Bruno in 26. Well, I'll have Bruno in 25. I'll bring in Salah because Jota will be at a rotation risk at that point once Salah and Mane are back, and they have Diaz, and they have Firmino. So I'll put Salah in there because Salah's the only one that doesn't have a backup, basically. Salah's backup is nobody, basically. So you have Salah, then in like the central-ish role, you have Jota and Firmino, and then or Minamino, and on the left side, you have Mane. Jota can play there, and now this Diaz kid from I think he came from Porto. He's played basically every game on the left except for one game in 3 years. So I think he's kind of a backup to Mane. So what I was gonna do, I did the planner on fpl.team, which is a very very nice tool to use, and because I've already done my transfers this week. I took out Guaita, I took out Alonso, and I took out Calvert-Lewin for Edouard, Eitner, and De Gea. Next week, get rid of Jota, bring in Salah, get him back, and then Fernandez, I can get rid of him and bring in either Son or Mane is what I'm looking for, or just whatever Liverpool midfielder I want, whether it be Diaz or Jota or whoever. Rafinha is a decent set and forget. I may get him in for Foden or Moura next week. Probably Moura, maybe. Moura doesn't have a double, though. So maybe Foden. That's a bit of a tricky one. But, again, Rafinha's double is not great. Yes, he can score against anyone, really, because he's that good. But, who knows. But I think he's a good set and forget. Yeah, Foden versus Norwich next week. Yeah, City's fixtures next week are good. Play Norwich. City don't have any games to rearrange either. And they're almost certainly gonna go through in the FA Cup because they play somebody easy, which will mean that their Brighton fixture in 30 will get rearranged. I think it goes into 36, which means they'll have Brighton at home and Newcastle at home in Gameweek 36. So that could be a nice captaincy option for City there as well. That could be carnage. You're right. Could be a very easy game for City there. That's why I've hung on to City defense for as long as I have. It's just I've been on the wrong side of Laporte versus Diaz for a couple of things. But Diaz did get me a goal and got me 12 points one game. But it's Laporte. Laporte's been getting a couple of goals recently. He seems to be more of a threat and is cheaper. So what can you do? But yeah, I think we're going to leave it there. We're going to post this over onto YouTube. And if you are still watching us over on YouTube at this time, because this will be the VOD from the night before. Hope you all have your team set up for Game Week 24. But before we sign off, let's talk about Fantasy Football Scout one more time. So yeah, Fantasy Football Scout, you saw some of the tables. Get on it in the About section on Twitch, or in my bio, or my pinned tweet, or over in the description on YouTube. Make sure to check it out. It's fantastic as well. Also, we have a offer Manscaped as well. Flame 20% off, free shipping. Go get your Manscaped order. Your balls will thank you. So yeah, let's move over to the big screen. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Deadline stream. Sadio Mane, also congratulations to him and Senegal for winning the African Cup of Nations all the way to penalties. Him with the deciding penalty in the shootout to have them win it for the first time in their history. So congratulations to them as well. And we could be getting him in Game Week 26 to have a triple up of him, Salah, and Trent in our team. So very, very excited about that one as well. So happy Game Week 24, everyone, as well. If you want to join for these streams midweek, we will be doing a normal Deadline stream for Game Week 25, double Game Week 25, because it is on a Saturday, as well as for big double Game Week 26 as well. So make sure to check us out for that as well. Thank you all for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff on all the platforms. PilotFlame226 on Twitter, Twitch, and on YouTube. And until the next one, take care.